This Friday just gone, I was editing a new James Bond video called my updated version of the Bond 26 wishlist, where I was going to talk about, first off, about potential new producers the Bond series are going to have. In the video, which I'm now not going to include this part of in the video, but I did put down, I think, two potential candidates to produce the James Bond film series going forward. Could be David Heyman and Amy Pascal. Well, to my surprise, on Friday night when I was editing, suddenly Variety pops up with this article. The article reads, Amy Pascal, David Heyman eyed to run James Bond franchise for MGM Amazon Studios. Amy Pascal and David Heyman may be enlisted to help Amazon MGM Studios oversee the James Bond franchise. Variety is yet confirmed. The pair are described as being in talks. No deal can be signed, however, until the streamer finalises its pact to buy creative control from Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, the producers whose family has overseen all things 007 for decades. Now, again, I was going to do a video entirely about all potential future James Bond producers, but I'm going to tell you right now, right off the bat here, if it is these two producing future James Bond films for MGM Studios under Amazon, I'm going to tell you right now, I am so excited, so thrilled at the prospect of this, and I'm going to go into that in a bit more detail. I'm also going to say right off the bat here, even though I know this is all speculative and they are apparently in talks and negotiations, I feel that Variety wouldn't be themselves commenting about this and reporting this if they weren't sure from their own insiders that this is almost like we're just crossing the I's, dotting the T's and waiting for complete control to go over. I believe this is actually 100% happening, and I want to reiterate again, I am thrilled. The article continues, Pascal, the former head of Sony, has reinvented herself as one of the industry's most successful producers since she left the job in 2015. In addition to producing the Spider-Man franchise since then, she is also involved in critical hits such as Challengers and Little Women. At Sony, Pascal oversaw the studio's deal to distribute several Bond films, including Skyfall, the highest grossing movie in the history of the spy series. Now, I will in a minute go into a bit more about how I feel about Amy Pascal becoming a producer of the James Bond series, but again, just take that if you will. The Spider-Man films of recently with Kevin Feige in the MCU, she's done an amazing job there. The film version of Little Women she did was just terrific, and the film Challengers was also incredible, and there are other films she's done and also been a part of, and this to me is really excited. But if I'm absolutely honest, the person I'm really most excited about taking over as producer of the James Bond series is potentially her partner, David Heyman. Heyman is also familiar with the demands of overseeing a massive franchise like Bond, having played a similar role on the Harry Potter films and its less beloved Fantastic Beasts. He's also produced Gravity, a sci-fi blockbuster, and won several Oscars and produced the Paddington films. Need I say more than that? David Heyman, the producer of the Harry Potter franchise, he has produced Gravity, he produced the Paddington films, which everyone just adores, myself. Just the idea in my head about these two coming together to producing James Bond really gives me a lot of hope, a lot of confidence, and I think this could be a really great move for both of them. So right off the bat, I just want to say I think that Amy Pascal as a producer of the Bond franchise, I think it's a great move. As it's mentioned in the article, she has a history with Bond already, helping from Sony's perspective distributing the Daniel Craig films up to the end of Spectre. So she already has some inside inclination of how the Bond films are run, what makes a great Bond film, what doesn't. She's also contributed a bit to it as well. There's very famously the hacks that went back and forth a bit about her comments and thoughts and worries to make sure Bond stayed Bond. This gives me a lot of excitement, it really does, at the potential of what she can do. I also think one of the great things about a film produced by Amy Pascal, for the most part, is she creates incredible characters. She creates both male and female characters that not only have their great strengths, but they also have their flaws. She really creates well-rounded characters, and I think, certainly for a Bond film, that is potentially a really, really good thing. So just to add my point here, looking at some of the filmography that she has been a producer on, we have obviously the Spider-Man MCU trilogy, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, but also the animated films Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, as well as Venom, Venom The Last Dance, and Venom Let There Be Carnage. Apart from that, as I mentioned already, she has done Little Women and Challengers. She's also now currently working on another Beyond the Spider-Verse movie and the new Chronicles of Narnia film with Greta Gerwig for Netflix. Now, again, moving now on to David Heyman, I've already mentioned to you how I'm really excited about the potential of him taking control of James Bond. What just really excites me about this idea alone is the fact that he's so good with telling stories as a producer. He's so good at getting great casts, and he has a great history working with top British talent, and he knows what British talent can deliver. And I think someone like that, who really has a control of what makes British films so good, in charge of James Bond, come on, that is a really, really great thing. And I think a great sigh of relief to know that Bond will have that still very strong British feel. So looking at David Heyman's filmography, obviously as we mentioned, he has produced Harry Potter, he has produced Fantastic Beasts, and he has produced the Paddington films. But what you might also know that he also produced I Am Legend, as I mentioned earlier, Gravity, The Boy in Striped Pyjamas, Testament of Youth, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Secret Garden, Barbie, Wonka, and Marriage Story. Again, a producer who makes these great hits, now in charge of James Bond, coupled with Amy Pascal, who has already good knowledge about how Bond films are run and some experience on them, with her own great filmography aside. Both of them have skills and strengths to bring to the franchise going forward. I'm sorry, I think this is just a potential win-win-win. So everyone, yeah, that is my thoughts about David Heyman and Amy Pascal becoming the new producers of James Bond. But I want to know, what are your thoughts about it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I want to know. Comment down below and tell me your thoughts and opinions. Everyone, my name's Henry and I'm the Bond Geek. Take care.